Hello there, this is DBT and this is Art of Rooms. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt 8. And today, I'm gonna be playing multiplayer, and yes, it will be with the car that you see on the screen right now, which is the Chrysler Firepower. But really the objective of today's video is not doing a pro test, but instead playing in what is arguably the worst camera mode in the entire game. But before I get into it, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Doing these things helps the channel to continue to grow, it keeps me going, and it allows me to continue making this content for you. So I mean it, hit that like button and subscribe, it helps me. And besides, when we hit 25,000 subscribers, which we're getting closer and closer to, I'm gonna be doing a 12-hour live stream of racing games. So yeah, let's get to that number. But alright, so what am I talking about over here with the worst camera mode? Well, I think the vast majority of the player base in the game plays with the action camera. This is what we normally do. But as you might just have noticed, I'm gonna be playing in Immersive. There's also close and fixed cameras, which are other camera modes that we can talk about in a little bit. But for now, Immersive basically means we're gonna be playing in first person. And oh boy, that is interesting. And in case you're unfamiliar with the Chrysler Firepower, this is an 1140 car, in the bracket of 1140 and exactly the rank of 1140. Here's the stats of it. This is actually a car that I do like quite a bit how it looks. It's kind of funky. I'm not gonna say that it's the most beautiful car out there, but it has some attitude to it, so I kind of like it. Now, as I was just mentioning, the peculiarity about this camera mode is that quote-unquote immersive just means first person. However, this game does not have like interiors of cars or anything like that, so first person literally means camera goes lower and that's it. You don't see anything else of the car. It's invisible. In a way, you can consider this to... Oh, did I knock him down? No, that wasn't it. Oh god, Jesus! And here begins the problem with this camera mode. You are not super aware of what's happening around you. But anyway, yeah, so you could even consider this to be a hood cam, you know, like a camera in the hood. But even then, the camera position is very, very low, and that is what makes this quite interesting. Because it is a known thing. Ah, get out of the way, buddy. Oh, no, he crashed. I didn't knock him down, right? I didn't get a notification of a knockdown. It is known in racing games that the lower the camera is to the floor, the more that the sense of speed improves. And I don't know if you can tell this, and I guess you will see it, or you will be able to consider this as we do more races. But it does feel like I'm driving quite fast over here. And I'm driving only an 1140 bracket car. This is a bracket that I don't like playing very much because these are pretty slow cars in general. I'm more comfortable driving from 1230 and higher. But over here, suddenly playing in first person, whoa, I feel like I'm going at 310 kilometers an hour. I mean, because that's actually the speed that I'm going at. But you know what I mean, right? The sense of speed changes, suddenly it feels different. It hits different. Now, whether or not you like this camera mode, I guess it's gonna be very subjective. Jesus. But even, yeah, as you drift, you can see that it's weird, because as I'm doing the wiggle, it changes my camera position quite a bit, so it can be a little bit disorientating. But hey, I got a second place, and that's not too bad. I'll take it. Let's see, what beat me, though? It was an Infinity Project Black, but I did beat a Trezor, BMW M2, and a couple of the cars boosted or on the ranked. So as I was saying, one of the main issues of this camera mode is precisely that you're incredibly unaware of what is happening around you. Normally when you're playing in third person, not only you see your car, but you see, oh, there's a car approaching me from the left, from the right, from behind, whatever. You have a little bit of view around you. But over here you don't. You don't really know what is happening other than what's exactly in front of you, and that is what makes it quite challenging. Hold on, let me see if I can... Oh, because I just took the lead. I want to see if I could get a W in this camera mode. I would be pretty happy with that, to be honest. There we go. I'm keeping the lead. I can only tell that there's people behind me through the minimap. But other than that, yeah, I don't really know what is happening around me. What is the car behind me or anything like that. So yeah, it definitely cuts some of the information that you can get by simply being able to look a little bit around your car. But at the same time, it does give you a bit of a more focused perspective on where you're going. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good or a bad thing. I guess as a whole, you could say that it's a bad thing because indeed, you still don't have a bunch of information. But it makes it a little bit interesting that now I'm focusing specifically on, you know, like, okay, I really need to be focusing on, oh Jesus, on where I'm going rather than who's around. Now, another problem with this camera position is that being, again, so close to the ground, you don't have enough of a high point view. And I know that sounds really dumb and really obvious, like, well, yeah, the camera is low, so oh, Jesus. Hold on. Oh, Jesus. Hold on, come on, triple tap. Here we go. Come on. That's gonna be a first person, first place. How about that? But yeah, your point of view is way lower, so you don't get to see as much of the track or what is happening in front of you. So I'm telling you, it introduces some challenges. Look at that, 40 points from that race. Jeez. Oh boy, Venice. All right, not gonna lie, I'm a little bit afraid of this track in first person, but hey, let's see. So yeah, you don't see as much of the track as you're driving, obviously, because the camera's way lower. But one thing that this this camera mode does have, it's, like I said, the sense of speed. It improves the sense of speed quite a bit. And this is something that, it might sound a little bit controversial, but hear me out. I think this game, Asphalt 8, has an absolutely terrible sense of speed in general. You might be thinking, what are you talking about, DBT? It feels that you're going insanely fast. Oh my god, it feels like, whoa, crazy, when you're driving the fastest cars, obviously, but, you know, it's pretty good. It's not that bad. Is it, though? The only reason why the games feel really fast is because you're going really fast when you're driving your 400, 450, 500 kilometer an hour cars. That's why it feels fast, because you're going really fast. But when you get to play with a car like this, an 1140 or even a 1050 car, whatever, you play with those cars and you're gonna feel like you're going absolutely at crawl speed, insanely low. In fact, I could probably just show you that here. Look at this. Do you feel that I'm going fast? No, I don't. But like this, holy smoke, I suddenly feel that I do. And that's what I'm saying. The game has a really bad sense of speed. Anywhere else, let's think about you driving a vehicle in real life. You're driving it at half the speed that I'm going right now, and you're gonna feel like you're about to, and possibly, gonna get unalive because you're going so fast, you make a small mistake and that's it. That's the end of you, right? It's really high speeds. But over here, you might be driving at 300 kilometers an hour in regular camera mode, and you're like, wow, I'm going quite slow, am I not? And there are other games that you might be playing at these same speeds, and yet it feels insanely fast. And I do have a really good example of that, but I'll mention that in the next race. For now, I'll live with the second place. That's not too bad. I'm doing all right with my Chrysler Firepower. I appreciate that. What did I get defeated by, though? Treasure. Oh, it's the Treasure that I beat in the previous race. Fair enough. 38 points. Let's go. Man, I'm getting so many points. Jesus. So the example that I wanted to give you is specifically a game like Need for Speed Heat, which, granted, it's a full console game, it's not a mobile game and whatever, but I'm not here to talk about the graphics themselves. What I'm here to talk about is the sense of speed, because in that game, it is very difficult for a vehicle to get over 300 kilometers an hour. And keep in mind that I'm driving over here at 310 kilometers an hour, and yet the sense of speed in that game is way better. You're driving it at 200 kilometers an hour, you're like, oh my god, I'm going so fast. Now, why does that feel so much better than this? That's what I get for trash talking this game. Why does that other one feel so much better than this? It's precisely because it has a much better sense of speed. The speed in theory, it's still the same. 200, 250, 300 kilometers an hour. Jesus. 300 kilometers an hour. But why does it feel better? Oh, by the way, in this section, because it's also kind of weird, it goes into third person. It doesn't show it on first, which I'm glad for. But then we get back into first, then third person again because of this jump. Yeah. It's the sense of speed what really makes it or breaks it. And what creates the sense of speed is a bunch of different things, but one of the simplest ones, it's camera effects. Well, I'm pretty sure if you play this game, you've played a bunch of times in Orbital Loop, right? The space track, the one that you're like in a satellite or in the moon or whatever it is, right? If you think about that particular track, you know that there's those like hyperloop sections, not hyperloop, what would you call it? Hyper sections, whatever. Wow, I never done this section in first person. That was interesting, quite interesting. All right, that was the second place. Did I get it defeated again by the Treasure? Yes, I did, but look at those points. I'm about to rank up. That was not planned for this video, but hey, I'll take it. Anyway, as I was saying with the Orbital Loop track, you know, in those kind of tunnels, there's a couple of tunnels throughout the map in which it plays this weird sound and the camera distorts and suddenly it looks like you're going super fast, like zoom, you know? And like, oh man, look at that. No, actually, your speed is the same. Your speed never changed. What changed was the camera effect, the FOV, field of view, that makes it feel like you're going way, way, way faster. But the reality is that you're going at the same speed. And that is the best example that I can give you as to how the camera affects how you perceive the speed that you're going at. And like I was saying, Need for Speed does this very, very, very well, because what they do a lot is move the camera depending on what you are doing in a way that it's quite dramatic. And dramatic camera ends up creating insanely good sense of speed. Like when you use nitro, then the camera zooms out a little bit, it creates this FOV effect. Once again, like the tunnel in orbit to look, and it's just for half a second, but that made you feel like, whoa, I just really punched the speed right there, and whoa, suddenly I'm going faster, even if after that it actually normalizes. And it also, you're starting to steer to the right, then the camera moves quite a bit to the left, and you're like, oh wow, look at this, it's this turning, there's this steering that I'm doing is so aggressive that the camera can barely keep up with it. Oh, I did this jump. Oh, the camera also pulled away a little bit, because Jesus, that's the second time that this did knock me down. I don't think that was on purpose in any way, shape, or form. That was just an unfortunate case, but hey. Yeah, a lot of these little things with the camera is what can create an insanely good sense of speed. And that is what this game unfortunately doesn't have a lot of. And I wish that this is something that they would work on, because an improved sense of speed on this game would go ways away to really make it feel much, much better. Now, for now, once again, I got defeated by the Treasure, but actually look at that, I did rank up. Woo! How about we switch to some faster cars? Okay, first, I want to ask forgiveness because I brought the spammy car, the Mosquito, the MP48, in the 1410 bracket of Class C, but I'm going to be punished by having to do Citadel Crash in first person. I don't know how that's going to go, but alright, that's going to get interesting. Yeah, I know it's spammy car, but hey, we're here to see how this thing feels. And suddenly I'm going like almost 33% faster, not like 30% faster than in the previous car, and Jesus Christ, look at this sense of speed. Again, all because of, hold on. Oh God, oh, I got it, I did it, let's go. All because the camera is way lower to the ground. Now, obviously, when you're doing third-person perspective, you cannot lower the camera way too much, otherwise your car is literally gonna be blocking the view. So there's a limit as to how close you can get the camera to the ground. But that is why I would also like to eventually make another video when I'm specifically driving, but instead of first person with the close camera. Because like I said, that is a camera mode that not a lot of people use, but it does improve a decent bit, a tiny bit, the sense of speed in the game. And you know, I kind of like it because you see the car's bigger, but at the same time it has in a smaller degree the same problem that this camera mode has, where you don't see as much of the track. So if you're not perfectly familiar with the track, there's a very real chance that you are just gonna be like, wait, what's coming next? Oh no, I didn't know that the ramp was over there, type of thing, right? But hey, this is gonna be a Jesus. Did you feel how suddenly it felt much more like, oh God, I'm going so fast? And I'm still only driving a Class C car. I'm telling you, it makes a difference. Is it just me? Am I the only one noticing this different? Maybe you're watching it like DBT looks the same to me. I don't know. What do you mean Citadel Crash again? 2 times in a row? What, game? Why are you doing this to me? But anyway, now there's something else that affects a lot the sense of speed. And unfortunately, that is something that this game currently cannot change and will not be able to change at all. And that is how wide or how open the tracks are. And this game has some really wide tracks. In general, how many cars can you fit? You know, if the cars were right next to each other, how many cars could you fit right there at the start of this race? Like 8, 10 vehicles. I don't know. You can fit a lot of cars. These tracks are really wide. The wider a track is, hold on. Oh boy. Okay, I did some flat spins, but we're okay. The wider a track is, the farther the objects are away from you. And the farther the objects are away from you, the slower they pass you by. Look at, for example, this billboard to the left. It was there, right? Now let's focus specifically on the right side on, let's see. Let me find something interesting. Or not actually, right in this tunnel the tunnel that we're gonna go about. This tunnel. It feels way faster. Why? because it's not as wide. The space is more limited, so things are passing you by way, way, way quicker. You know what I mean? It's very simple, right? The closer that you are to an object, the faster it passes you by as you go, well, past it. For example, this ramp right here, whoop, really quick. This other ramp, whoop. You see what I'm saying? So because this game has some really, really, really wide tracks, a lot of the objects that you can use as reference, well, they're pretty far away, so they pass you slow, and that makes it so that it feels slower. And again, it's not that you're going slow, you're still going 380 kilometers an hour like with this car, but you know, it changes a lot. Like for example, when I was driving earlier on with the 1140 car in, you know, the Venice, I forgot the name for a second. In Venice, that track is much more narrow in some sections, and suddenly you feel like you're going at 100 million miles an hour. While, for example, if I were to drive in somewhere like Tokyo, that it's quite wide, then you're gonna be like, oh, yeah, no, it doesn't feel. Like over here, for example, this is narrower. And look at, do you see how it feels like I'm going insanely fast now? Because, well, I mean, I'm going pretty fast. I'm going 385 kilometers an hour. But yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is why it makes it so interesting how the camera affects a lot how the game feels. Now, like I said, obviously, I don't think this is the most competitive way to play this game because, again, you're missing out on a lot of information that you could be getting by knowing who's around you, what they're doing, and whatnot. But again, oh, for example, over here, check this out. Now, tell me this doesn't feel like, Jesus, this is going so insanely fast. So, I don't know. I think it's very, oh, crap. It is very, very curious how the camera does this. Ah, Jesus! Fine, I'm fine. I think it's really, really interesting, and that is why I was really curious to play also with this camera mode, because, hey, oh, I think I knocked someone down. I'm so sorry. I think it was a bike. I don't know. I find it very interesting. Not that I would recommend anybody to play with this camera, but still, I think it makes into an interesting point of view and be like, whoa, the game certainly feels different, even with cars that are technically slow. Now, just for science, I cover the speed that I'm going at, and you don't see the car that I'm driving at. And I want you to tell me, which one feels faster? This that I'm driving right now? Just take a second to appreciate it, to get to understand it, to get a hang of it, you know. It's a car, it's a certain car that I'm driving in a certain bracket at a certain rank and all of that. So which one feels faster? This or this one? Now, I'm not showing you which car I'm using on either one of these races. I want you to tell me which one feels faster, if they feel slower, which one is which. I don't know. I'm just curious to know what you guys think. But this is precisely to try to exemplify what I was saying about how the size of the tracks and where you're driving actually does tend to affect a lot the sense of speed. So yeah, I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about these two examples that I just gave you. And I would like to know if you guys would like me to make another video driving more in first person to see if I can rank up further up, because that would be interesting, right? To make a video of like, hey, so can I actually get to elite in first person? But yeah, let me know which one of these two cars you think it's faster, and yeah, I guess I'll reveal it in the next video that I do on this topic. But for now, that's gonna do it for this video. If you want to get a hard enough opinion, you need to leave me the key phrase. Switch for today is going to be, it'd be great if the game improved the sense of speed in the lower classes. First person to post it gets the hard opinion and all of that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!